So it's kind of rude, man. USC's going to...
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You know what I'm going to do. It's called multitasking,
Yeah.
USC's on the big screen,
Okay.
All the high school games. I got a few other monitors they'll be on. Have about my usual 20 tabs open on a Friday night, so it'll be fun. But Lyndon already knows he's going to have to hit up Stonebreaker tonight and Danny, so...
Yeah. What do you think of that whole conversation of college games on Friday night? I'm not a fan of it, but there's high school games, I guess, on Saturday, so...
Yeah. See, that's what happens. High school starts to get into college's day. College is like, all right, we'll start setting up some Thursdays and Fridays. But
all right.
I would rather have my attention on USC on Saturday.
Yeah, I feel you there. All right, we are live here on Facebook. That is Zack Poff. I am Steve Montoya. We're talking some big high school football games going on around the country. We want to hear your comments. Leave them here. I got my phone. We'll talk about all the games you guys want to talk about out there. And before the show, we started to talk about this is the time of year where rivalry games kick in. Yeah. League play, conference play, already starting to think about playoffs. Now, there are a few more out-of-state games left to go, and we'll get to a couple of those, or to at least the big one coming up. But this is a great time of the year.
Yeah, and even yesterday, we had our top 10 games. One game was last night. It was a very good game.
Yeah.
Chaminade, Gardena Serra, very competitive. But, man, Chaminade's got this dude, Andrew Van Buren, Boise State commit, 311 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. They pulled it out by 1 score. Gardena Serra, starting quarterback, didn't start. They had a sophomore step in, played very well. Serra's loaded as usual. You got Brian Addison, Max Williams, Jack Johnson. They got a bunch of studs. But Chaminade's good, man. Only lost this year to St. John Bosco. So,
all right. Jacob says he's hyped to attend Lone Peak at Bingham tonight.
Score the game, baby.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be following along that game.
That's a good game, man. They met in the state championship last year. Bingham won by a touchdown. Bingham's undefeated this year. They've won every game big. Lone Peak's good, too. They have 1 loss. This is a very intriguing game tonight. It's one of our top 10 games of the week also. I like Bingham in this one, though. They've played pretty good football so far here in 2017.
Jacob says Bingham 42, Lone Peak 10.
Woo. Yeah. Score it, though, Jake, all right?
All right. Lewis says Modern Day, still number 1. They don't play this week.
Yeah, a lot of top 25 teams off this week, so.
Okay. We got Burns against Spartanburg in South Carolina.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one for sure.
Bishop Gorman, they played last night, right?
Yeah, I believe it was only 63-0, the usual Nevada game. Nevada opponent for Gorman, so yeah, Bishop Gorman, I mean, they're obviously a really good team, so.
Yeah, they're pretty good. All right, speaking of pretty good, St. Thomas Aquinas, the number 3 team, only allowed negative 31 yards the other week, but they're traveling to Arizona.
Yeah.
Game of the week.
Yeah, definitely game of the week. You got to look at the highlights from last week. Actually, this week, they played on Monday.
That's true.
So they're going to have 2 games this week, and they play tonight, have to fly all the way to the West Coast. They're playing a very good team out in Arizona. Centennial, but you look at Aquinas, man, they're loaded on defense. Nick Bonito always causing trouble. You got Al Blades, you got Asante Samuel Jr., you got Trenell Troutman. Al Blades, of course, running our Snapchat, so go ahead and peep that when you get a chance. But, this defense is absolutely loaded.
They're fast.
They're fast, they're big, they're hungry, they get after the quarterback. This guy right here is the guy Centennial needs tonight. We talked about 1 Boise State commit with Andrew Van Buren. This is another very talented running back, Zidane Thomas for Centennial. He had a game a couple weeks ago where he balled for over 300 yards rushing, so he's a very talented running back. And then for the defense, Dominique Hampton. UW's been getting some good DBs over the last 4 or 5 years, especially since Peterson's been there. Dom Hampton is another guy that's on that list. He's a UW commit. They're going to need a big game from him tonight, though, going up against a very good St. Thomas Aquinas team. Aquinas, of course, a lot of people, I probably shouldn't say this, including myself, believe they have the best defense in all of high school football.
All right, so those boys in Arizona got a big test in front of them. That should be a good one for sure. Our national game of the week. We'll get to some other games. South Point in Carolina, still like them.
They won last night, and, they showed that, unfortunate, their quarterback got, little John back and forth. He got ejected in that game.
Oh, wow.
Late in the second quarter, so he'll probably miss next week also. But backup quarterback came in and said, I got you. They won big last night, so that was a big win for South Point. And that showed me, too, that this team is a lot more than just Darion Kendrick. Very talented defense, Mr. Gilmore is a stud at wide receiver, and also he plays both ways. So South Point, very talented team. I believe they're number 17 in the top 25. So big win for them last night.
All right, the state of Texas is obviously a huge state for high school football. And when you have a game like DeSoto and Cedar Hill, crowd's going to be huge. The fans are going to be into it. And these two teams are consistently good. Yeah,
I mean, Battle Beltline. You know that's a good rivalry when both these schools are within a 10-mile radius. So bragging rights are obviously on the line here. You're going to look at Courtney Douglas, man. This is one of the best stories in high school football. Last year, he had to sit behind the Gatorade Texas Football Player of the Year, Sean Robinson. The year before that, Tristan Wallace, a guy that went to Ohio State. Things didn't work out there, but he's had to wait his turn, and he has played very well this year. They also have a very talented defense led by the Green Twins, 2 Michigan State guys, and B.J. Hanspard, a 4-star Arkansas commit. That's Josh Fleeks right there for Cedar Hill. Cedar Hill's had guys like Charleston Rambo, DeMarcus Lodge. Josh Fleeks is that another great wide receiver for Cedar Hill. They also have a very good running back in Cameron Fleming right there. He finally got on track in the win they had 2 weeks ago. Both these teams had a bye last week. So Cedar Hill's got the talent. They're 1-2 this year. They got a new coach in Carlos Lynn. I mean, Coach McGuire was here forever. He's the only coach to ever lead Cedar Hill to the playoffs. They won a few state titles under him also. The big problem with Cedar Hill this year has been the quarterback position. They've already had 3 different quarterbacks start 3 different games. So they haven't found that quarterback yet, but having a guy like Fleeks and a guy like Fleming makes them competitive, and this is a rivalry game, so don't count Cedar Hill out. But DeSoto, man, they remind me of the Chip Kelly, Oregon type of teams. They're quick, they score points, they're averaging over 40 a game. It's going to be a good one tonight.
All right, we're talking about a little Texas football, and we're going to get to another Texas game here right now, and then we'll get back to some Facebook comments. And leave those comments. We want to know about your big rivalries going on, or if you're already fighting for playoff spots or any games, hit us up. We'll get to those. But let's talk about this other one, Judson Steele. That's another great, solid matchup in the state of Texas.
Yeah, and hey, last year Judson jumped in the top 25. They played Steele that week and Steele won 30-9. Steele is hoping they can do the same thing this year, but they got to stop this cat right here, Julhan Williams. He's on the short list of National Player of the Year on the watch list right now. Absolute stud with the rock in his hands. Very hard guy to tackle, as you see right there. Over 1,500 yards of total offense so far this year. Also has 19 touchdowns, and he really showed how good he is when he put 62 on the board against a very young but a very good Lake Travis team. And Judson right now, they're in the top 20, and they're a very good team. But still, they got one of the best DBs in the country, future Texas Longhorn, Caden Stearns. Not only does he get interceptions, but usually when he gets interceptions, things like that happen. He takes them back for points. Still, they've had a rough start here in 2017. They've been trying to find a new quarterback, Omniak Smith, but they're 1-3, but a win against Judson will really turn their season around. You got a guy like Caden Stearns, who I strongly believe is a top 3 safety in all of high school football. You got a chance to win. So this is going to be a good Texas rivalry.
All right. Joseph says Bishop Gorman did win last night, as you said, 63-0
See,
over
everyone thinks I'm always wrong, but I'm usually right, you know?
Yeah.
Not really.
All right, shout out to the Greenwood El Dorado game out in Arkansas tonight. I got in that game, I got El Dorado winning that game.
I'll take Greenwood.
All right. Josh says he misses the days of playing high school football. Northwestern Trojans 2013 was a solid team there. We'll keep on going. Jacob says, I am a proved MaxPreps scorer, and he is attending the Bingham.
He's always got us, man.
Yeah,
always
I like
trust
Jacob. Jacob, shout out to you. Well done. All right, Arlington, Bowie tonight. Anytime the same cities and the same name, you know that's going to be a classic game. Calabasas, I don't know if you saw that score last night.
Man, against Valencia.
65-63.
Quarterback threw for 8 touchdowns.
TDs, Jaden Casey.
Hey, they got 2 studs, though. Micah Pittman, his older brother, of course, at USC now. And then also Johnny Wilson. He was a MaxPreps freshman All-American first team last year. They're loaded with talent, man. Calabasas is a good team to watch. That was a fun game last night.
Yeah, all right. Chino says Immaculate, Florida, check them out. They hit 40 points every game, so keep an eye on them.
I will.
DeMontre, this is a huge game. Folsom at Granite Bay, both undefeated.
Hey, I got Folsom.
Both are legit this year for sure. This is a Northern California game, both undefeated going into this game. It's at Granite Bay.
You're starting to seem like you might lean towards GB over here.
I don't know, man. Granite Bay's tough too. That's going to be a heck of a game.
So Vacaville's got to be all right this year then, because they missed a game-winning field goal against Granite Bay down the stretch. But I like Folsom, man. They win regular season games.
Yeah, it's hard to pick against Folsom for sure, but Granite Bay looks pretty good. I think that's going to be a good one. All right, let's get to a classic rivalry game, Trinity St. X. Yeah. This is a legit rival in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, they've almost played 100 times between the two schools. They're going to be playing at Louisville Cardinal Stadium tonight. I believe it's Papa John's Cardinal Stadium. You're going to look at Rondale Moore. It seems like I've been talking a lot about Texas commits here on the show today, but this is another one. He's one of the shiftiest wide receivers. You see, he's so versatile. He can line up in the backfield also. Now, Steve, he had a game about 3 weeks ago. He caught 22 balls. That's pretty good, right?
Jeez, yeah.
And then he answered that the next week. He went for 17 receptions for nearly 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's, top 5 wide receiver so far this year. Anytime you watch Trinity, you got to watch Rondale Moore. Now you're going to look at St. X. This is a team that's 5-0 this year, a huge rivalry game. This will put them on the map when it comes to national attention. If they can beat Trinity, a team that's won 24 state titles in school history. They won a state title last year. 82nd meeting between the two, though. You got to love stuff like that. Trinity owns the series, but it's close. 41-37 and 2 ties. Trinity, though, they got bragging rights over the last 5 years because they've won all 5 of those games.
All right, Lewis says Brownsville Lobos against Brownsville Porter Battle of Southmost.
I'm going Lobos.
Again, when you got the teams playing in the same city or within 20 miles of each other, that is classic high school football right there. And check out our rivalry series presented by the National Guard. We got some classic rivalries going on our site. We go inside and look at some of the best rivalries across the country.
Another thing to check out too, our social guy keeps chatting me on here, but Al Blades, check out the Instagram page too. So he's going to be running that. So
Instagram Live,
Snapchat, everything, man. I'm too old. I don't do Instagram. So
no Instagram, huh?
I know.
All right, Oxnard Westlake going to be a good game. Shout out to that game. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Ronald wants to know what it's going to take to beat IMG. We'll get to IMG towards the end here. We're almost there.
Hey, Miami Central was close.
Yeah, they were. So we'll get to IMG here in just a minute, but let's get to one more rivalry going down.
And these are all Friday games that we're talking about so far, so there's going to be a lot of good action tonight. So.
Yeah, let's talk about that game in Oklahoma. What do you see there?
Yeah, I see one of the best one-on-one matchups. I see the top 2 players in all of Oklahoma going mano-a-mano tonight. That's C.J. Moore right there. He's an Oklahoma State commit. Oklahoma State's had some pretty good receivers over the years. You look at James Blackman, obviously Des Bryant, and the guy they got right now, James Washington. You can throw C.J. Moore's name in that hat because this kid, when he gets his hands on the rock, absolute playmaker. He's led Union to the #1 ranking so far in Oklahoma. They're a team on the next 5, so they're a bubble team right now. And they're going up against Owasso. Now, Josh Proctor, man, this kid's a stud. He's an Ohio State commit. It's going to be a fun matchup because you're going to see Proctor and Moore lined up one-on-one a lot tonight. They both play 2 ways. So it's going to be a good matchup. Both these teams undefeated. 1 versus 2 in the state of Oklahoma. Bragging rights definitely on the line tonight. And this is Owasso's ready to show they belong with the Union and the Jenks. This is their perfect opportunity tonight. They've already beat Jenks so far this year. They beat both them. That's going to be big for them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Tyler says, will Martinsburg and West Virginia ever lose? Shout out to them.
I would go, yeah. You lose eventually, right? I don't know if it's going to be this year, but
they may never lose.
They're going to probably lose a game. So.
All right, Jackson, Tennessee getting some love. Michael says, how do you beat IMG?
You score more points than they do.
No, he says you bring them to the state of Texas and play the big schools in Texas.
Hey, they thought the same thing with Gorman. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and Florida and California, IMG.
I'm joking, man. I love Texas.
Yeah, I think big-time Texas teams could beat IMG, modern day potentially.
Look at what happened to De La Salle a few years ago when they went out and played, pretty good Euless Trinity, but that wasn't even the best team in Texas either.
Yeah. So I think there's ways to beat IMG for sure, and it's not going to be an easy one for them this week.
Yeah.
I mean, Northwestern's no joke.
No joke at all. And, you know, IMG, they're undefeated this year. They've had 3 straight quality wins. It helps when you got a backfield with the future Alabama Tide. There's Trey Sanders right there, one of the top running backs in 2019. He's averaging over, I think it's 18 yards per carry now.
That's it.
That's it. So, and he got Noah Kane. He's the #1 overall running back in the 2019 class. On defense, you got some savages. Xavier Thomas, who might be the best player in all of high school football. And you got Teron Vincent there, an Ohio State commit, son of Troy Vincent, former DB for the Philadelphia Eagles. And you got my guy Buki, absolute playmaker at the cornerback position. Brendan Radley-Howes, one of the best all-around cats in all of high school football. Northwestern's nice, man. They got Tutu Atwell. He's listed at 5'8". There's no way he's 5'8". He's a little 5'5" guy out there making plays, but this dude is one of the best overall playmakers in high school football.
I was like 5'11" on the program, so.
Right? Hey, he's a stud. I love their defense, man. You got Devon Wilson, a Florida-bound corner. This kid had 2 INTs last week in their W against Booker T. You got Samuel Brooks on the edge. You got Demetrius Mays lined up at the Mike position. I think Northwestern's winning this game because I look at them as having a better defense than Miami Central. IMG's got some serious issues at the quarterback position. Arthur Sitkowski, he got benched last week. This is a 4-star Miami commit. He got benched for Zach Anixtad. Zach Anixtad was very ineffective when they came in, and I believe Northwestern has a better defense than Miami Central. And I also think the one factor that's going to happen is IMG pulled one out late last week, and I think they're very happy about that win. But I think they're going to be maybe I don't know if wore down's the word, but it's, you know, they're coming off a very emotional win, and Northwestern's a team that really wants to go out there and prove that they belong in the upper echelon of Florida football. Yeah. There's your opportunity Saturday night. I like Northwestern here in the upset.
Ooh, cut that out, clip it. Put it on social. He says it.
I say a lot of things, but I strongly believe Northwestern's going to find a way to win this game, man. I love Tutu Atwell's game. This kid's very underrated. He's a Louisville commit. I don't know if he's going to play quarterback at the next level, but this kid makes plays. Their defense is very, very underrated. Might have the best defense outside of Aquinas and Heritage in the state. So,
all right, good one. Saturday, IMG Northwestern. Derek says Salt Lake East is going to have some fun with IMG.
They play, I believe they have a matchup in November. Yeah. So, East has been playing great. I mean, they have that one loss to Bingham, but they've won every game since. So, East is a team that's working its way back into the top 25, too. And you best believe if they beat IMG, they're going to clinch that spot in the top 25.
Yeah, Spurl, do you have the next 5 that you could pull up real quick?
He's panicking. Oh!
Yeah, you're throwing me off. I don't have it.
He's not good at hitting curveballs.
Have it. It's okay. Oh, look, he's on it.
He even did a transition for us.
So these are your next 5.
Yeah. Hey, Orange Lutheran bye this week. Next week they got St. John Bosco.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Northwestern, if they win, they're going to make a huge jump. Union, we talked about them earlier.
Yep.
Manville, the girl that sits behind me, Kirsten, she's a big Manville fan now because they got this cat, Jalen Preston. They did a rivalry series game on him. Dude bald, so she's a fan.
All right, yeah, check that out. All right, and then so we're watching these 5 teams. We're watching a bunch of teams, but these are 5 really
There's really
close.
Like 50 bubble teams, let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, it's high school football. There's 16,000 of them out there plus. So we got an eye on all you. Centerville, Wayne in Ohio. That's going to be that's a good one.
That's a good matchup, man.
Yep.
Wayne, they're very talented, and I got them getting the dub.
Okay. Thomasville Bulldogs getting some love here. We also got Union Redskins getting some love. A big shout out there. And then another big one, the Yellow Jackets playing in the state of Texas. So lots of good football going on around the country every week. But as we approach October, that's really it's like October baseball. Yeah, right? That's really.
I mean, it's rare for you guys not to be in the playoffs, but
I know this year we'll give you.
Now you're just rooting for whoever beats the Dodgers.
That's right.
So that usually happens in the playoffs. So.
All right, so it's going to be a good week of high school football. If you're going out to a game, make sure to sign up, score those games.
Don't forget Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob, you're the man. I like that you're scoring Bingham. That Lone Peak game tonight, so good luck out there for that one, and good luck to everybody playing this weekend. Have a safe weekend. That's Zack Poff.
Good luck, USC. Fight on, baby.
Montoya, go Washington State.
Oh, that was rude. That was rude.